To the ones who've felt the room shift the second they walked in. To the ones who know what it's like to be watched, judged, studied, and quietly resented before even opening their mouth. This one is for you. You've felt it, haven't you? That weird energy, that strange tension, that little change in people's faces when you enter the space. The fake smiles get tighter, the jokes get sharper, the whispers get lower, the eyes stay on you a little too long. The vibe changes, and nobody says it out loud, but your gut says the same thing every single time. Something about you bothers them, and that's the part that used to confuse you. Because you weren't even trying to do anything. You weren't chasing attention. You weren't begging to be seen. Half the time, you were just trying to survive the day, keep your head down, handle your business, and get home without your mind falling apart. But somehow, out of everybody in the crowd, they still found you. They still picked you. They still studied you. They still threw weird energy your way. They still tried to test you, provoke you, discredit you, isolate you, embarrass you, misread you, humble you, and make you doubt yourself. And for a long time, you took it personally in the worst way. You thought maybe something was wrong with you. Maybe you were too awkward, too quiet, too intense, too different, too damaged, too much, too hard to control, too hard to predict, too hard to categorize. And that right there, that was your first mistake, because the truth is way darker than that. They didn't target you because you were weak. They targeted you because something about you made them uncomfortable. Scary, uncomfortable. You carry something most people lost a long time ago. Presence. That's right. Presence. Not popularity, not status, not fake confidence. Presence. That thing you can't buy. That thing you can't copy from some self-help clip. That thing that doesn't need to scream to be felt. Some people walk into a room and nobody notices. You walk in, and even when you say nothing, insecure souls start rearranging themselves. And you know what's wild? A lot of them won't even understand why they're reacting to you. They'll just feel it. Your energy exposes them. Your silence makes them talk too much. Your self-control makes them look sloppy. Your honesty makes their performance look cheap. Your resilience makes their excuses sound pathetic. And that scares people. Especially people who built their whole identity on being the loudest, the most manipulative, the most liked, the most feared, the most connected, the most polished little fraud in the building. Because when you show up carrying pain, but still standing straight, carrying scars but still seeing clearly, carry a disappointment but still refusing to bow, you become a mirror. And insecure people hate mirrors. They don't want truth. They want comfort. They want control. They want a world where nobody reminds them of what they're not. Then here you come, not perfect, not untouched, not soft and shiny and manufactured for applause. No, you come in real, and real is terrifying to fake people. That's why they poke at you. That's why they bait you. That's why they randomly act cold. That's why they switch up. That's why some people support everybody except you. That's why your mistakes get magnified while everybody else gets grace. That's why they act like your confidence is arrogance. Your boundaries are attitude. Your ambition is selfishness. Your silence is hostility. Your pain is drama. Your standards are unrealistic. Your refusal to be used is somehow disrespectful. Funny how that works, isn't it? When you let people walk over you, they call you sweet. The second you stand up straight, now you're difficult. Now you've changed. Now you think you're better. No. You just stopped volunteering to be a doormat. And people who benefited from your self-doubt will always have a problem with your growth. Read that again in your soul. The people who felt safest when you were confused will panic when you become clear. The people who loved the version of you that apologized for existing will feel threatened by the version of you that finally understands their value. The people who could handle you when you were broken, scattered, begging for crumbs, and desperate for validation will not know what to do with the version of you that can walk away. That's the scary reason. You are not easy to own anymore. You are not easy to manipulate anymore. You are not easy to label anymore. And the system around you, whether it's a family, friend group, workplace, relationship, church circle, social scene, or whatever little emotional prison you've been standing in, the system hates what it cannot predict. Let's be real. Most people do not love freedom. They love familiar cages. They love rules they understand. They love people. They can summarize in one sentence. Oh, she's the quiet one. Oh, he's the weak one. Oh, that's the people pleaser. Oh, that one always comes back. Oh, that one can be guilt-tripped. Oh, that one can be controlled through fear. And then one day, you stop fitting the script. You stop reacting on schedule. You stop chasing people who disrespect you. You stop over-explaining. You stop proving your innocence to people committed to misunderstanding you. You stop shrinking so insecure people can feel taller. And now, everybody's confused. Now everybody's uncomfortable. Now everybody wants to know what happened to you. I'll tell you what happened. Pain educated you. Loneliness trained you. Betrayal sharpened you. Disappointment woke you up. Silence built your inner world. Rejection forced you to meet yourself. You didn't just suffer. You learned. That's what makes you dangerous. Because suffering by itself doesn't make somebody powerful. Plenty of people suffer and become bitter, needy, reckless, cruel, or permanently stuck. But you paid attention. You started connecting dots. You started noticing patterns. You started hearing what people meant instead of just what they said. You started seeing how fake concern hides control, how compliments hide jealousy, how help sometimes comes with chains attached, how attention isn't always love, how being chosen isn't always an honor, how being included can be another form of being used. And once you start seeing like that, really seeing, people can feel it on you. They can feel that you're harder to fool now. That smile they use on everybody else doesn't work the same on you. That guilt trip doesn't hit the same anymore. That little power game doesn't make you fold like it used to. That fake apology doesn't melt you. That public disrespect doesn't automatically make you break. That emotional blackmail doesn't own your nervous system like before. You became expensive, not in money, in access, in energy, in emotional labor, in mental space. And broke souls hate expensive access. They want cheap entry into your heart, cheap entry into your time, cheap entry into your mind, cheap entry into your boundaries, cheap entry into your loyalty. And when they realize they have to come correct now, they call you cold. No, you're calibrated. You're no longer handing sacred things to unserious people. And yes, that will make some enemies good. Some enemies are proof that your life is no longer available for public misuse. Some tension is evidence that your standards are working. Some distance is the price of self-respect. You've got to stop thinking every rejection is a tragedy. Some doors slam because something rotten is behind them. Some people disappear because your spirit stopped giving them free food. Some rooms go quiet because truth entered and the performance got awkward. That doesn't mean you lost. That means the filter is doing its job. And let me get even darker with you. Sometimes they target you before you fully know who you are, because they recognize the threat before you do. That's right. Sometimes insecure people sniff out your potential while you're still doubting it. Sometimes jealous people see your future while you're still crying over your past. Sometimes manipulators know you're one healed decision away from becoming unreachable. So what do? They attack early. They plant confusion early. They question your worth early. They make you second-guess your instincts early. They keep you busy with drama so you never build discipline. They keep you addicted to approval so you never discover authority. They keep you emotionally exhausted so you never become focused. Because a focused version of you, that's a problem. A healed version of you, that's a problem. A disciplined version of you, that's a disaster for anybody who built comfort on your weakness. Imagine how many people were only comfortable because you were underestimating yourself. Imagine how many dynamics only survived because you kept betraying your own instincts. Imagine how many people called you crazy just to keep you from becoming accurate. That's why your growth feels lonely. You're not just changing habits. You're breaking contracts nobody admitted existed. You're breaking invisible agreements. The agreement to stay small. The agreement to stay available. The agreement to stay confused. The agreement to stay easy to shame. The agreement to stay grateful for crumbs. The agreement to keep calling disrespect love. Because at least it came with company. And every time you break one of those agreements, somebody gets nervous. Because every insecure structure around you depends on your compliance. That's why the targeting intensifies when you get serious. Have you noticed that? The second you start minding your business, building discipline, getting quieter, getting sharper, protecting your peace, learning new skills, taking your healing seriously, not chasing chaos anymore. The weird energy increases. Suddenly people check in more. Suddenly people misinterpret you more. Suddenly your name is in rooms you didn't enter. Suddenly there's tension with people who used to ignore you. Why? Because your silence started sounding like power. Your withdrawal started looking like clarity. Your discipline started exposing their laziness. Your self-respect started reminding them of every boundary they never had the courage to set. And now they want to drag you back into noise, back into proving, back into arguing, back into the mud. Because if they can get you emotional enough, reactive enough, distracted enough, guilty enough, they can delay your evolution. That's the game. And some of you have been losing years to that game. Not because you're stupid, not because you're weak, because you have a heart, because you wanted to believe people meant well, because you confused empathy with obligation, because you were raised to keep peace at your own expense, because part of you still thought being understood by everyone was necessary. Listen carefully. Not everybody deserves an explanation. Not everybody deserves front row seats to your transformation. Not everybody deserves access to the new version of you. And not every attack deserves a response. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is let people talk to the version of you that no longer exists. Let them gossip about the old you. Let them rehearse outdated narratives. Let them laugh at a chapter you already burned. Let them think you're falling apart while you're actually rebuilding in private. Privacy confuses people who need constant visibility to feel important. Power grows quietly. Real power, anyway. The loudest people in the room are often terrified of silence, because silence forces them to hear themselves. But you were trained there. You met yourself there. You bled there. You rebuilt there. That's why you don't need as much noise anymore. And that itself is terrifying, because a person who no longer needs applause becomes very hard to control. A person who can stand alone becomes very hard to threaten. A person who has already survived abandonment becomes very hard to manipulate with distance. A person who has made peace with being misunderstood becomes very hard to shame. That is why they targeted you. Not because you're worthless, because your value is difficult to neutralize. You've been reading their hostility backward. Their obsession was never proof that you were nothing. It was proof that something in you refused to bow the way they expected. And let's talk about the part nobody says out loud. Sometimes the reason they target you is because your existence gives other people permission to wake up. That's the scary part. It's not just about you. It's about what happens around you. When one person stops tolerating disrespect, other people start noticing they don't have to tolerate it either. When one person gets honest, the whole fake environment starts shaking. When one person refuses to clap for lies, the performance starts losing power. When one person breaks the emotional cycle, the system has to either evolve or attack the threat. And most broken systems don't evolve. They attack. Families do it. Friend groups do it. Workplaces do it. Communities do it. Industries do it. Even relationships do it. You start growing, and instead of celebrating you, they study how to humble you. Because your freedom exposes their chains. Your discipline exposes their excuses. Your self-respect exposes their desperation. Your authenticity exposes their costume. And if they cannot become what you remind them to be, they will try to punish you for the reminder. This is why you need discernment more than validation. You need vision more than applause. You need self-trust more than group acceptance. You need peace more than being liked. Because a lot of people will clap for you as long as your growth remains decorative, as long as it's cute, as long as it fits their comfort, as long as it doesn't cost them anything, as long as your healing still leaves room for their access, as long as your glow stays manageable. But the second your growth starts changing your standards, your schedule, your relationships, your mouth, your patience, your tolerance, your ambition, your non-negotiables. Now it's a problem. Now you're different. Yeah, that's the point. You were supposed to change. You were supposed to get sharper. You were supposed to outgrow places that only knew how to feed on your confusion. You were supposed to become unfamiliar to people who only recognized the wounded version of you. Stop apologizing for the distance your healing creates. Stop apologizing for outgrowing dysfunction. Stop apologizing for getting harder to fool. Stop apologizing for becoming someone your old environment can't digest. That discomfort around you is not always a sign to shrink. Sometimes it's a sign you're finally carrying your true weight. And carrying your true weight will absolutely shake weak structures. A light version of you was easier for them. A doubting version of you was easier for them. A begging version of you was easier for them. A people-pleasing version of you was easier for them. But this version, the one that watches more than it talks, the one that files the energy before it trusts the words, the one that can love deeply without abandoning itself, the one that can forgive without reconnecting, the one that can care without rescuing, the one that can leave without making a scene, the one that knows the difference between being needed and being valued. That version of you is a nightmare for users, abusers, pretenders, copycats, liars, cowards, and emotional parasites. Good. Let them be uncomfortable. You spent too many years being the uncomfortable one in rooms full of frauds. Let the Varsher change sides. Let the people who weaponized confusion choke on your clarity. Let the people who played with your mind realize the game expired. Let the people who kept trying to reduce you to your lowest moment meet the version of you that turned pain into precision. You don't need revenge the way they think you do. Sometimes your revenge is becoming unrecognizable to the forces that tried to define you. Sometimes your revenge is a calm nervous system, a clear mind, a disciplined routine, a private life, selective access, real peace, real standards, real progress that hits harder than rage ever could. Because rage is easy to dismiss, but your composure, your focus, your refusal to collapse, that keeps them awake. Nothing confuses your enemies more than watching you become fruitful in the exact place they expected you to decay. Nothing bothers manipulative people more than realizing your pain made you wiser instead of easier. Nothing irritates insecure people more than watching you glow without asking their permission. So no, don't waste your life trying to convince everybody you're harmless. You're not harmless. Not to lies, not to manipulation, not to weak excuses, not to false power, not to dead environments that survive by draining the alive. And that does not make you evil. It makes you necessary. Some people were not sent into this world to blend. Some people were not designed for shallow peace. Some people were built to disrupt false order just by telling the truth with their life. That's why your path feels intense. That's why ordinary advice doesn't always fit. That's why pretending never sat right in your chest. That's why fake friendships exhaust you. That's why shallow conversations leave you empty. That's why certain rooms make your spirit itch. You can feel when something is off. You can feel when somebody's energy is coated in performance. You can feel when love is mixed with possession. You can feel when help comes with hidden debt. You can feel when a compliment has teeth in it. That sensitivity is not your weakness. It's your radar. It only became painful because you were taught to distrust it. You were taught to call it overthinking. You were taught to call it insecurity. You were taught to call it being dramatic. But now, you know better. Your body was catching what your mind had not yet learned how to explain. Your spirit was ringing alarms before your logic could write a report. And every time you ignored those alarms to keep the peace, you paid for it. Enough. Enough giving the benefit of the doubt to patterns that keep cutting you. Enough forcing yourself to stay where your soul is getting smaller. Enough explaining your heart to people who profit from misunderstanding it. Enough trying to look chill in situations that are clearly corrosive. Enough calling your self-betrayal maturity. Enough calling your silence strength when it's really fear. Real strength is not suppressing what you know. Real strength is acting on it. Real strength is leaving when the pattern becomes clear. Real strength is setting the boundary before the breakdown. Real strength is saying no without writing a whole thesis. Real strength is choosing long-term peace over short-term approval. And yes, it will cost you. It may cost you comfort. It may cost you connections. It may cost you certain identities. It may cost you the version of yourself that survived by adapting to nonsense. Let it cost. What's the alternative? Staying target practice forever? Staying emotionally available to people who secretly resent your light? Staying loyal to spaces that only clap when you're smaller than your calling? No. You've done enough dying in places that were never built to hold your soul. Now it's time to become selective. Selective with your words, selective with your energy, selective with your trust, selective with your attention. Because attention is currency, and too many of you are still funding the very things that are draining you. Starve what feeds on your confusion. Feed what strengthens your mind. Feed what sharpens your discipline. Feed what protects your peace. Feed what makes you more rooted, more honest, more dangerous in the healthiest possible way. Dangerous in truth, dangerous in discernment, dangerous in self-respect, dangerous in focus, dangerous in emotional sobriety, dangerous in the way you stop begging and start building.